So hi everyone, welcome to Conversations in American Democracy. Once again, I'm not Merrill Shapiro, though I wish I was that smart. My name is Mark Webb and I'll be enjoying the conversation today with everybody that's here. Very excited to get started and to open up conversations. As normal, we're going to touch on a few, I believe, exciting specifics that we can build on. So first, Mike, take us to school. Let us know what it takes to be a citizen in our great country.
Well, there's a question in the citizenship test, the old one that we're going by. The Federalist Papers supported the passage of the U.S. Constitution. Name one of the writers.
Madison?
James Madison.
John
is one.
Jefferson.
Hamilton.
John Adams.
Alexander Hamilton. And who's the third one?
John Adams?
No.
So it's the Federalist Papers,
The
not the
Federalist-
Constitution.
The Federalist
Franklin?
It
Papers.
was John, so it was Madison, it was Jefferson, it was,
Was it
Ben Franklin?
Hamilton?
It's John Jay.
Oh, John Jay.
oh,
Right.
John Jay, yes.
Oh,
And
From Philadelphia.
And as just a little extra, the pseudonym for the group of the three of them was Publius, who was a Roman that stood up for democracy.
in the Roman Senate, I believe.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
where he
yeah.
came
Yes,
from.
yes. And then what is one thing Benjamin Franklin is famous for?
Electricity.
Science.
He was an ambassador.
To
Started
France.
started the paper
Starting
in
the
Philadelphia.
post office.
The
That was
printing press.
Post office. Yeah.
Starting the post office.
Yeah, and the writer of Poor Richard's Almanac. But I brought that up simply because I was referred to when I was running or put my name in for a citizen committee for the city of Palm Coast, that I was referred to as Benjamin Franklin because of my age. Because he was the oldest guy for the Constitution that they won.
I do remember that. All right. Anything else?
That's
That's
it for today.
That's it for today. Thank you. So, constitutional moment with Kurt. What you got for us today, Kurt?
The Eighth
A
Amendment.
new book.
The Eighth Amendment.
Yeah, boy, that,
Oh.
not too many people will know that one.
Uh-uh.
Okay. Well, excessive bail, that's very appropriate today. Yeah, cash bail, you know. And the other part of that is cruel and unusual punishment.
Is it long? Can you read it to us?
That's it.
It's very short.
It's excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. That's the Eighth Amendment.
Would you think the Eighth Amendment covers non-citizens? All
Yeah.
people? Because that's one of the things that I've enjoyed in our conversations within that question of who's covered by our Constitution? Is it all citizens, we the people? Or is it only citizens, and how are they treated? As we well know, we are violating the Eighth Amendment daily with the, I love how they use the word, detaining non-citizens.
That's a good question because, you know, to me, the Eighth Amendment, especially with the bail not being excessive, to me, that's about accessibility, right, to liberty, right? If somebody gets arrested and they happen to be poor, you can't put an undue, amount on them because they're poor. And that's what we're dealing with right now, right? Is a lot of people can't access their rights, and they can't get lawyers to prove that they indeed maybe do have.
I think we're dealing with
These rights
excessive
here.
force myself. I mean, you take a helicopter and you land it on a building in Chicago and you rappel down and you knock people's doors off and you take little children and
Zip tie them.
zip tie them. Some of them were naked, they were in their pajamas, they were separated from their families. A 67-year-old man was zip tied, he was a citizen, and he was put on the wet cement sidewalk, and he was there for hours, and he kept saying, I'm a citizen. You can, if you take me up to my apartment, I can prove that I'm a citizen. And he laid there for 4 hours. If that's not excessive force, we turn into a banana republic, that's what we are.
Well, thoughts on that? I mean,
Staying calm.
We don't even grow any good bananas.
Well, you know, when they wrote "We the People," they were all immigrants. So why would that not be applying to immigrants today? Because we the people were immigrants.
right.
Especially people. who
We were
had-
starting a new country.
Especially people who have lived in this country, worked in this country, paid taxes in this country for decades, and some of them are being detained.
It's interesting. I'm having a conversation with a friend of mine about the term criminal and how we hear it all the time, right? That ICE, well, we're just rounding up all these criminals. And by definition, a criminal is someone who's been convicted of a crime. So somebody that comes across the border, not following the process, has violated a law that we have on the books.
Allegedly.
Well, allegedly. But they're not criminals because they haven't been arrested, convicted, and sentenced. And I love to use this scenario with this guy who, very passionate, drives fast. And I go, Bob, are you a criminal? He goes, no, I'm not a criminal. I said, how many times today did you break the speed limit? And he goes, often. And I was trying to prove a point of we all at some point, consciously or otherwise, probably violate a rule, an ordinance. Here in Palm Coast, there's thousands that nobody even knows about.
I just found out about the pet ordinance.
Yeah, about the licensing of your pets.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't tend to tell.
For
Did you know
13
that?
years I've had 3 cats, I never had license with them.
I went 5 years without doing that. That's why I was talking about. Or do you realize you're supposed to have your outside air conditioner, as Mark and I were talking, protected from sight of the road? Nobody does it. But are we criminals because we didn't follow the ordinance? So it comes with patience and compassion and understanding, which we're not seeing much on the news and throughout the area. And I bring this up because that was one of the things Merrill had suggested that we wanted to talk about, because we clearly are seeing an attack on citizens and non-citizens, both of which have the same rights of a variety of articles that are in our Constitution, where they grab someone with no explanation, throw them in a van with no explanation, and keep them for 2 or 3 days without contact of anybody else, without being able to call a lawyer, without understanding or explanation of why they're being attainted, and then they're cut loose and they're let go.
Does
What's the
anybody
difference
know?
between what ICE is doing and what the Taliban did? Would somebody explain that to me? Because I don't see a whole lot of difference. And the cities that they're going after the cities where there are black mayors and where there are women as mayors. And God help you if you have a black woman mayor. Heavens to Betsy.
Well, I heard on the radio the other day when I was driving to the doctor's office that this one woman whose mother happened to be picked up when she was coming out of the grocery store and detained, and she had to pay $50 just to be able to talk to her mother. So to find out where she was, and what can be done to, get her out.
I wonder what
$50
pocket
for a
that
phone
went in.
call.
Whose pocket did that go in?
Oh, probably the ICE agent.
Yeah, that's terrible. And certainly against the Constitution. I mean, that's
And
ridiculous.
that doesn't count what she's gonna have to pay in legal
Right,
costs and
right.
lawyer costs and everything else that they're demanding to be able to take these people out of these detainee centers.
May I ask you, when Merrill suggested we talk about insurrection, and then I have the definition of insurrection, what was his intent? What are we?
Well, I guess
because
the
I got the feeling from it that it was like, is what they're doing to people considered?
Well,
under the
what's the definition that you found?
An act or instance of revolting against civil authority or an established government.
Okay, so tomorrow or Saturday for our No Kings
Okay.
rally,
Insurrection.
is that by definition insurrection?
An act or instance of revolting, that's Merriam-Webster.
I guess,
But there's
But
another
we're peacefully
definition.
protesting, is that
From
insurrection?
the Oxford language, the definition is a violent uprising.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Against an
Yours,
authority.
your first definition had the word revolt in it, which also is an indication of a violent or
Inherent, yeah.
Per-
We're
Seat
peaceful.
of power, you gotta go after a seat of power.
Okay,
And
That's the
does it
reason
have
why
to-
the January 6th
Absolutely.
was an insurrection.
right.
And I would think that because we have First Amendment protection and we have freedom of speech, that the difference in those two definitions is very important. And what you were saying about the inherent violent nature of revolt, right?
And then we hear Trump saying openly that he has taken away freedom of speech because he said that there was a punishment for burning a flag, which has always been a form of freedom of speech.
So I'm gonna ask a question, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, right? He was accused, and that group was accused January 6th of insurrection, sedition.
Because it was violent.
Okay, but he wasn't violent, but then they went back to his speech.
He incited
And
it.
they said that he
Incited.
incited it. Now, what
Like yelling fire
so
in
where
the
is
air.
that fine line? Because what we are saying on our signs and what we are sometimes saying at the rallies are action verbs. Do this, do that, throw him in jail, or whatever people's rhetoric is at the rallies and on their signs and everything. So
They keep
Where-
changing the definition.
where
that's
is
why
where's
it's
the
dangerous.
where is that line? Because Trump did say to go down and I'll walk with you, and that was an action that he
But they're
he
changing
incited.
the definitions. If you posted Merrill's thing on Facebook in a public group, you have been shut off. And
Facebook would
Facebook.
block that?
What was Merrill's thing?
one of the woman for the PCDC, Jill,
Scott.
yeah, posted it, and she got all of her groups, and she does stuff with animals. She runs several. She is shut out of all of them.
What did she
And
post?
they sent her a thing saying because she used insurrection, their new policy is if you do it
She
in a
posted.
private group, they won't do anything about it. But if you do it in a public group, you're going to be shut off.
That, she's not gonna be happy about
So
that.
they're
She's always wanted
changing
that to be a
the
private
rules
group.
every day. They are changing the definitions of words, and they are changing the rules.
Just to suit their daily
Right.
opinion.
And what is violence?
Daisy
Can we
Beans.
define violence? Is it
Harm?
cursing at someone? Is it,
Throwing a sandwich.
That's violence, yeah. That, so they said.
Yeah.
Does it have to be physical though? Is that your question?
yeah. Does it have to
Can
be
it-
a
can
rock
it-
or
can it
a
impose
knife or
emotional
a gun or
I don't know.
can
Anyway,
it be?
what it all comes down to, for us right now, October 18th is very important. We need everybody to show up with a flag or a sign or something to let everybody know that we are not complicit with the state of
Nobody's
events that
doing.
is happening in this country. Now, we all know about safety, staying away from the road, being careful not to confront, not to react, just signs. And I say, have a great day, no matter what they say. You know, peace be with you. You know,
Did
No,
anybody?
I want to address something she said. You know,
Asked, I'm just asking.
She was asking for,
you know, he incited the violence of the mob, okay? Now, he was gonna be prosecuted for that, but he got elected president. Part of the problem is Merrick Garland waited 2.5 years to even start an investigation. If he'd have done it then, he would have been in prison, and he wouldn't be president now, because he'd have been convicted as a citizen and put in jail. Just like with the documents case, that would have been completed. They waited to where they didn't have time to do it, and he got elected, and he made it go away.
Well, I
the
agree
whole
with that
reason why
statement
he
is-
didn't want to be elected, so he
That's
doesn't get
why.
I mean,
thrown in jail.
it's fairly common knowledge that, you know, it moves very slowly because there's a lot to investigate.
Well,
There-
no, but they
you know,
didn't start it for over 2 years.
I understand.
So that was the problem.
I understand, and we all know that, you know, that, but, you know, that's done. It's
Well, I know it's done.
I
Did
understood
anybody
that-
here
I understood that
this
they were
week-
just tourists.
Yeah, another ordinary day.
That's what I heard.
But the interesting-
And it's the, and now it's being directed specifically.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the real problems. They have taken, is it $8 billion in projects that the government had been approved and were working on that are in progress in New York. To punish them, he doesn't want Madani elected, okay? And he's pulling back billions of climate-related projects in any state that voted for Kamala Harris. If they had the majority of people who voted for Kamala Harris, he's going to punish them by taking the money away.
Yeah, and what about the 20 billion that he's just gonna,
When are the Republicans going to
Totally
wake up
hand
and
over
think
to-
sooner or
yeah,
later
that-
that she's
this
going
is
to be
our
on the
purge,
other
not
foot?
theirs.
Venezuela?
And the United Nations already did that.
Argentina.
Yeah.
This is just money to a dictator down there.
Yeah,
Getting back
and,
to,
we can't feed our kids in school, we can't give them school
But
lunch.
he can give our money
But he
away.
can give our money to
Well,
South America.
Who's stopping him?
I'm just
That's
trying
just
to
it, nobody is
anticipate
standing up and
just
saying
gave
it's
20 million.
absolutely
where he's
To,
heading.
Argentina.
Billion.
billion, not
To
million,
the
billion.
idiot in Argentina.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
getting back
yes.
to the October 18th thing, I saw an interview where Mike Johnson said that this was an anti-American demonstration around the man, and it is Hamas paid for.
Oh, God.
This
That's
man is
ridiculous.
crazy.
Well, he's
They
not
will-
crazy, he's
listen,
crazy
they
like a
will-
fox.
Yeah, they'll say
He wants
anything.
that base to start
he
with
lied.
that. because-
Thinking, that's how he wants them
He
to
wants
It's
them
a
to
think.
lie.
see that.
Oh, and
It doesn't
with-
have to make
One
sense.
at a time,
No.
please.
It's just crazy.
One at a time.
Yeah, it doesn't have to make sense.
so do you feel that the Constitution, First Amendment, gives every person in America the right to say what they wish, when they wish to, with the freedom of the protection of our government?
Again, that's the root of my question.
That's what I'm trying to get
So,
back
like-
to. So how many of you that are
What is-
planning on going Saturday have some concern for your safety?
Not much, but. I would
Some,
think- I would-
some concern.
I would think that'd be
It's
foolish not to.
it's a point of being aware of your surroundings, being aware of where you're gonna go, or how are you gonna respond if there's a pushback. But isn't that what is expected, to have the freedom? Isn't that the risk we take?
For our friends.
All of our actions to stand up and to participate? Because people have died for your right to stand up there with a silly sign and wave at people and have your ability to voice whatever your opinion is. Some of us here are veterans that chose to volunteer or got drafted for your right to do that. And so I believe that it should be empowering. And if anything lately, I'm all about the participation of our government and all the things that are going on. Like going to a rally to say when you're unhappy, coming to City Hall when things are about to happen, joining a committee, speaking to your neighbors, which all have a risk. But I believe it was, what was it that Ben Franklin said? I've given you Republic if you can hold on to it. I was speaking with somebody the other day and it was really amazing. They were going, do you know what makes America and our government experiment different than everything else?
It's controlled by the people.
Absolutely. It is the only existing level of government at this design which will survive or not survive by the participation of the people that are in it. And sadly, for the many, many years, most of the people don't participate. They don't vote, they don't get out and they get involved. And those are the telltale signs, Kurt, of the failure or the opening for a dictator, a person that knows how to manipulate that can slide in and do what's happening now.
They have, all over the world, I think it's up to 20 countries are now having their own No Kings rallies in support of our No
Absolutely.
Kings rallies.
In support
That's
of
why-
democracy, I think is what they're saying.
Yes,
Right.
but they're using the word No Kings to follow, to
Well,
follow
hand in
our
hand.
thing, and I just think that's incredible that it's known all over the world what's happening here, and we still have half the population who has no clue what's happening here.
That's
Because
true.
they're just listening to one form of what they call news, which we know is just, entertainment and outright lies.
I just watched a whole series of interviews with college students, asking them this specific question: who attacked us on 9/11? And most of them could not answer that question. And this is the sad part of it, because if we don't know who our enemies were just 20 years ago, then they don't know our history. Then they don't know anything
Yeah,
about our country.
where's that fail safe where, those who don't learn lessons
Well,
of
it
history are
harkens
doomed
back
to
to,
repeat it?
it harkens back to the failure of the school system, because they went to me, they went to core curriculum and they were teaching tests. Not
Not
real,
the system, that came from on high.
yeah,
All of that came from on
yeah,
high.
that's what I'm calling the system, the whole thing. I'm not blaming the teachers did what they were told, they
No,
had
you
no
can't
thing
even,
to
you
do
can't
it.
even blame the school boards, because all this stuff, it was mandated at the federal level.
Right.
And it infiltrated down
Right.
from that level.
But it's all about the dumbing down of America. It's
And
about
not
not
teaching-
making smart choices and decisions for how we educate our children.
And
I'm thinking like what I see now is, like we learned in school about, people, hoveling in their houses learning how to read and write when they weren't allowed to learn how to read and write. I mean, you're gonna have to teach your children privately, what is our real history. It's gonna become subterfuge that you learn to teach your children. It's just mind-boggling to me
Kind of
that this is the
piggyback
country we're
on
living
what
in.
you were saying about and what Al followed up on. It reminded me of the whole woke thing, right? And how that became a negative derogatory term on the other side, right? So now if you're woke, you're bad, you're not good.
And most people didn't even know what the meaning of the word was.
Right. I just
Sorry.
Well, I know we have some, go ahead.
Isn't the woke sort of philosophy the thing that
Oh.
was upset with our education system? I mean,
because we make them feel bad. So back to what you were saying about Fox, it was pretty common knowledge that it was Tucker Carlson who, or somebody on Fox Entertainment when Biden won in 2020, had said Biden won, and they said that like their whole audience got really mad, and it ended up with this guy getting fired. This announcer got fired over it
Well,
because
he was on
made
Fox and he was
made
reporting
the
the truth.
people feel bad. He made them feel bad. So what you're saying about the world knows, but half of our population doesn't know, is that somewhere near the root of the problem is like, we don't make us feel bad. Okay, we're America, like everybody should speak English around the world, right? We've known this for a long time, right? We go everywhere and everybody should like think that we're, the absolute greatest.
Yeah, when did
This
we
is
go?
what we need to work on. This is what we need to, and it's done at school.
When
I mean,
did
it's
we
done
go
at
from
home, but if
being-
it's not done at home, it's done in the schools.
The tough people, like go West young men, and we were tough, and we were fighting the elements, and we were the tough America.
Now
When
we're
did
the
we
image.
become the thin-skinned little? Oh, you hurt me.
Snowflakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, snowflake. When did that happen?
The big when we need guns. I mean, because we can't do it, with
Yeah.
our words and our muscle. Now
Yeah.
all we gotta do is pull out a gun, right? You can be this frail little thing and just shoot
Well,
somebody if you
to
want
partner on what Al was saying, I was reading where recently there was an assessment, we have some teachers with us today, that only 11% of the students coming out of high school today know anything about civics, know anything about how our government's run, because successfully they've stopped teaching it to let people know. And this goes back to my biggest fear is the lack of participation and knowing why you need to participate. So do you sense that the people that are watching wherever you get your news have become numb to the daily 5-second news clip of the issues like what Kathy was saying on TV or what we're seeing in Oregon and the tolerance? In fact, Al, you had mentioned in our last meeting the biggest fear is that we all become numb to armed soldiers in our streets.
That's what they want us to do.
Is something that I think is becoming
Normalized.
normalized.
desensitized, apathetic.
Well, the President of the United States spoke to the generals and said we're changing the focus of the military to focus on the enemy within. Now this is profoundly against everything that the U.S. military
Well,
has
it's
ever stood for.
And that this country was founded on.
And so if that goes by in a news cycle with a shrug, oh, that's what he said? Yeah, okay. Then why are we bothering having this podcast?
I still can't believe.
If everybody is saying, if the President of the United States says, yeah, the military from now on is going to start to refocus within the United States, did he just declare himself a dictator? Did he just take over the military of the United States and point the gun at the American people? I think so.
ISIS is
sounded like.
another
And now,
military arm now.
I'll have my French fries. You know what I mean?
Well, and he told them, if you don't like what I'm saying, you can get up and leave.
Right,
Right.
right. So
If
I
you
mean-
want your job.
No, he'll
Being a
he'll
little
take your
smart
rank and
about-
your
yeah.
future and.
Yeah.
He got rid of every legal officer in every branch of the military. He got rid of JAG, he got rid of the head of the legal department in the Marines.
Inspector
In the
Generals.
Navy, he got rid of all of those people. And
Anybody
then
who
he got
challenged
rid of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He's already removed any of the people that he thinks are going to stand in his way.
Plus today,
And if you have a question about whether this order is legal or not legal, who are you going to ask? There are no military legal people available to them to tell them that is illegal.
No, they've all been replaced.
I know.
Well,
They're
you can
they're
ask them.
gone. No, they're gone.
No.
He's eliminated Jack.
No, just like he has replaced the head of every branch of the military.
Right.
But
he
they've
got
all
rid
been
of all-
replaced.
He got rid of all the JAG officers.
All
They've been
the inspector
replaced.
generals.
No, he eliminated the JAG officers.
Yeah, they're gone.
They're gone.
Plus today, there was a news thing that came out that said that all news organizations, CBS, ABC,
And they
NBC,
refused to go along.
right, they were forced to sign an agreement that they would only report the news that was approved by the Pentagon. So that means it's all gonna be sanitized for
Like
us.
North
Right.
Korea.
And so the only organization that did not, said they would go along with that was Newsmax. And all of the other ones said, hey, we're not gonna do that.
I heard Newsmax wasn't.
No, they did
I
not.
heard Newsmax
Newsmax did not.
also.
Well, there was one organization,
Yeah,
It's
there was
probably
one, but I don't think it was
Fox
Newsmax.
News?
It was probably.
Fox was the
But
last.
anyway,
Fox
one
was all-
organization
Fox wouldn't do it either.
agreed to go by that, so that they could, so that they would only report what they want them to report, the
Thank
way
God.
they want them to report it.
Right.
So, our
More
freedom of
guts
the
than
press
lawyers.
is also going away in waves.
And he just eliminated all the teachers who supervise special education. So not only is he dismantling the Department of Education, but anybody who relies on special ed, what's it called, IEPs?
Services.
IEPs, it's the
IEP.
ADA, the Americans with Disability Act.
Yeah, all of
These
it's
are
gone,
all-
all these people,
You know,
gone.
amendments.
So if you have children or grandchildren who need special help in school, it's on you now. Homeschooling, whether you like it or not.
So that brings us to another issue that I'm curious about. The shutdown. Are you for or against, and why? What are your thoughts? I don't think many people sitting in this room, me included, are being at this point touched by what's happening with the government. And I know some of the people I've talked to said it just proves how useless the government is, because I still drive to Publix, I still get my food, my Social Security check still came in, my pension money still came in, the banks still work,
Are
I
they
can
brave
still,
enough to fly?
I can still get,
Yeah.
well, I flew.
You're gonna fly in a couple
Yeah,
of
but you
weeks.
flew
Yeah,
before.
so what are your thoughts on that? Some
What-
people
you know,
still feel that it was no value to stand up and start to fight now. Now we're into 2 weeks and we don't know how long. What are your thoughts on what's going on
Well,
with
as
that?
we know, they're blaming the Democrats
Yeah,
for the
it's just
shutdown.
a joke.
But yet what they don't say is, well, we're not willing to negotiate anything with them. And the Democrats aren't asking for anything outlandish. They just, we need the ACA.
Their initial proposal had 60 some odd items on it. And the Republicans were complaining that the Democrats wanted so much stuff. What the Democrats have done is they've reduced it down to that one item, the ACA, and making sure that it remains. The other things they've already relinquished. The other 60 some odd things but
Including-
there were 60.
Well, that's a
Including
shame, they
SNAP?
should have asked for more.
I think-
But it's just not fair that you don't negotiate in good faith, because it just proves that the Republicans don't care about the people.
Did they give up on SNAP
Sure.
too?
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I believe he shifted money around somewhere to pay for the SNAP program.
And you
But
can only pay the military for two paychecks. That's all they have the money for, is for 2 paychecks. Because Congress, in order to get that changed, they have to bring
That's
them
the
back.
budget. They have to
Okay.
pass the budget.
Yeah, and if they bring them back,
that's-
then they have to swear
And they
her
have
in.
to vote,
right.
and they have to vote on Epstein.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're right.
So, the longer it goes, I think it's a shame. I feel really horrible for people in the government who were laid off and rehired. Now they're being freaking laid off again. And I worry about the military families, because a lot of those, especially if you are not an officer, okay, you're not making bundles, and a lot of them have young families, and it's,
Paycheck to paycheck.
yeah, it's, well, if you're lucky, okay. But somebody has to stand, because sooner or later he will not be able, unless he's gonna do it out of his own pocket, and we always know how he gets everybody else to pay for things that never comes out of his own pocket, okay? That's what it has to, I think, come down to. I think by the time we get into the holidays, trust me, you can't fly because the people in the towers aren't there, and you had tickets to go home to see your family, or you can't afford
Right.
that Thanksgiving turkey at $17.99 a pound, okay?
Kurt, you had something?
Well, this whole business with the, I have to scroll back. No, I
In
have to.
answer to your question, the Democrats so far are standing firm, which is a good thing. And because it's not touching so many citizens, I think the public is also standing firm so far. That's the sense I get. There isn't much
Yeah.
opposition, thank God, for
I mean, listen,
what's
when
going on.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is the voice of reason on
Oh,
their
yeah,
side,
that's
it's like, are you kidding
Can
me?
you believe that?
Are you kidding me? Like, she gets it.
Finally?
Are
Finally,
there-
somebody.
Because her children
Yeah,
are
affected.
affected by
Well,
Medicaid.
Well, and that was my point. Are you aware of friends, neighbors, relatives that are headed toward a possible reduction or in their amount of health care on which they're being touched?
74% of the people in nursing homes in Florida are on Medicaid.
Yep.
What are they gonna do, put them out on the street?
Send them home with their kids.
If they have
If
kids?
they
They
have
have
Right.
kids. yeah.
How many people around this table have to actually see the suffering to know that it's going on?
No, because we're Democrats, we have an imagination.
The same thing happened during COVID, when they were reporting about the refrigerator trucks outside the hospitals in New York, you know? And
We
that was
saw
getting
them.
pushed back.
Yeah.
It's like, it's happening. Like, I don't need to see a refrigerator truck with full of bodies to know that people are dying by the millions from this thing.
Yeah.
Well, sadly,
But when you
No.
did see it,
Yeah.
it rips up your soul.
but sadly, you bring up a great point, and it's one that I had just mentioned, of the numbness of exposure. And you're absolutely right. People see and watch stuff through the news, however horrendous it is, and know that there's a distance to it of tolerance. And I love to use this scenario. How many of you last year during Milton got a text or a phone call that says you couldn't flush your toilet or take a shower? It wasn't until that action that caused the citizens of Palm Coast to all of a sudden realize, which some of us had known for a year, that our water infrastructure was failing. But it wasn't until, Sue, you got a call that says, don't flush your toilet because we have an issue, you're touched. So how do you think we get people to experience the empathy of others, the suffering of others, like Kathy talking about the gentleman that got grabbed in Chicago, or the horrendous things that we see going on based on the reaction of our administration, and realize it is us being touched.
I think we keep
We just don't
saying it.
feel it yet. How do we do
We
that?
keep saying it. You just have to keep saying it, because the few people that I know on the other side, what is one of the labels they give Democrats, right? Our bleeding heart, right?
Yeah.
I think they attack us on that level to shut us up, because it's a good argument, okay? It's a good argument that, you know, people are, you know, this is happening to special ed kids, this is happening to women, you
But
know,
why not just defend being a bleeding heart?
and also defend.
Just say, oh,
Call me
you're a bleeding heart liberal, and I say,
Well,
yes,
Yes, I
I'm a
am.
bleeding heart liberal. I
might-
feel bad for people who have problems.
And I agree with you. I
Yes.
just think that, you know, some people who, we are sensitive creatures, we Democrats, and I think some people, when that is said, it's like, oh, we feel attacked, you know, and it's effective to a point. But I think, to answer your question, we just keep saying it. We just keep putting it in their face. We just keep saying it and put it in their face, because I can tell you, the day that my brother told me in like 2021 that if he was the last person on the earth, he would never vote for Trump again. Whether he did or not is still up for question.
But-
What was interesting for me was like, I didn't get a sense that he was leaning in that direction. In other words, his presentation was so like forward all the way until it wasn't anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't know that he was thinking these doubts. So I think again, if we keep saying it and we keep getting in their face and keep saying it and keep getting in their face, regardless of how, not violent but passionate their response is to it.
Mark?
Listen, there's so many, we know couples that are Republicans, and we try to talk to them. Okay, now a lot of other Republicans are like this. They don't get the whole story themselves half the time.
Yeah.
But we've tried to talk to them and they go, I don't want to talk about it.
I don't wanna know.
You know why? Because they don't know how to respond.
No.
Because they are ill-informed also. If they would just open their eyes,
That's right.
you'd be a different world, but they
So what is the
Don't
response
attack
to
me.
that? We all know people like that. What is the response to that? How do you get people to stop with this? Like, how do you explain to them that it's your responsibility to know?
Ask
you
them
know?
questions.
Kurt?
Ask them questions.
We need government.
Keep asking questions.
I have a master's degree in government. I believe in government. We need it. All of us are very lucky right at this moment that we do not need government, other than the road is good and all that stuff. Everything that we have has been guaranteed by government, all right?
Yeah, I love that argument too.
And the whole idea is that at this point, Trump comes in and we have 240 years of all the laws and everything to support all of us. And of course, in the last 50 years or so, we've gotten down to where we're really helping other people. And we're just lucky we don't need that help. But that's not a reason not to have government, because we all know we have people that need help.
Yeah, the thing is though, that the Republicans were always low government. Don't interfere. That was their whole policy. That was the
Nobody
theme
helped-
of their
nobody helped
party.
me.
No,
I
yeah,
did it
exactly.
on my
Nobody
own.
helped me. I'm
I
not
did it
gonna
on
help
my own.
anybody.
I'm
That was
separated.
what Republicans were about, low government interference. And that their objection to the Democrats was that we wanted government to help the people who needed help. That was the separation. Now they're all about all government all the time, 24-hour government.
So the
It's
question.
switched.
Because that's what they say and what they do.
Yeah.
The questions you can ask people is like, okay, in your family, do you have someone elderly that's sitting in a nursing home on Medicaid? Or do you know somebody who can't work, who has to rely on Medicaid for their health services? Or,
If you stop getting Social Security,
yeah, what
could
would
you survive?
Could you survive?
If they take away Medicare and you've just lost half of your medical benefits, could you afford the hospitals nowadays that are all for-profit organizations?
If they're going to talk about the immigration, the first thing I would say is that are you personally affected by this immigration stuff? Do you want to do the kind of jobs that these, because when they say, well, they're taking away our jobs, do you want to get up on a roof in 99-degree weather and do roofing? Do you want to do the kinds of things and waitressing and waiting that some of these people are doing to make a living? Do you realize that these people are paying taxes into our system and not getting any benefit from it?
Yeah, that's the other thing, because they forge their Social Security numbers.
Yeah.
But I think
So it
what
just
Mark,
goes into the fund.
yeah, I think what Mark and others are asking, how do we speak to someone that has a different view of what's happening? And it's a big challenge, and I find for myself, in which I reach out, is I ask a lot of questions, because you will find in some cases they're getting it from one source, they don't understand it, they don't question it, and or they're getting no information.
Or don't care.
And so the first check, and I believe that humans by nature are very empathetic. We've seen it during crises whether it's a national disaster like a hurricane or when we had COVID and people were locked down and struggling and needed, and people were stepping up and delivering food and trying to help. And I believe in my heart that human beings are good, even though history hasn't always painted that picture. I mean, we in the United States fought 2 world wars and sacrificed millions of lives, not even on our own soil, to defend the rights and the beliefs of others. And when you have a conversation with a conservative, find a middle ground you both agree on so that you can engage, not enrage. And so all of us believe in some level of conservatism. You do. You don't want to see our government in Palm Coast go out and waste millions of dollars on something that has no value.
Or the national debt.
Or the national debt, right? Getting involved. So finding that stable ground, that platform that you both, and I try to practice this as well, of a conversation in which, we both agree on that. We both think that's a problem. That already puts you in a different light, so that it's not that fight or flight. And if we practice that and we put ourselves out there, you will find we're so much more similar. We're so much more, and I love you. I use this in my podcast all the time. Whether you like it or not, guys, we're all in the same boat.
Hard to
And-
do when you
May I
have a
ask you,
president
though-
who gets up in front of numerous countries and say, I'm the only one that matters.
So when you're the one that's trying to find that place where you engage and you don't enrage, like, with everything being so heightened right now and the divisiveness right now, how quickly does it take any of us sitting at this table to walk away from the conversation when idiocy, God forgive me, when some of the things that they like to say are being thrown at you?
And
They do this, and
Right.
you are the bleeding hearts, and you're, what else are we now? We're Antifa, and we're all this
Yeah.
stuff. How long, how short or long is your fuse?
well, you have, for me
Stay
anyway,
there.
you asked me this question. For example, Antifa. Okay? First of all, my response would be, do you understand what that even means?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You're against our government.
Fascism.
Okay, well then you open up that conversation. But Sue, it's hard. It is hard because I have a strong liberal view on, as I was having a conversation on Flagler Live with a very strong Republican who was talking about money spent and all of this and focusing on internals, and we all want to see America first, right? There's a part of us that wants to make sure that when you drive by and you see a homeless guy in the bushes, that you think he probably needs to be helped before we send $30 billion to Argentina or whatever.
Then there's the Fox News host that said that homeless people should be euthanized, and
Right.
he still has his job.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Exactly, but it comes with, what do you want in the long term of the conversation that you're having?
I want to close them, is what I want. I want to convince them that they need something that they didn't think they
Well,
needed.
and a lot of them, and it's not a them or us, because we're all us, but a lot of people that have made decisions in the past that are now living with them, I think are questioning their decision. I see it all the
I
time.
hope so.
And you know what? I'll be the first to admit, the Democrats did a horrendous job of dealing with the border. We own that. We agree that the border was open and people were coming through and we could have done a better job. Look, within 5 months, our border was secure and they had the numbers down to like 2% of people coming across. But the commitment of putting the military there and the commitment of doing the things that the Trump administration did were good. So that's an opening conversation because we all agree that we want to have our borders under control, right? We all want to make sure that the people coming through have been vetted and need to come through, need to come in and work to pick our fruit and to wash our dishes and to mow our yards, go through the process. So you find that middle ground of where you can all agree on. And it's tough, but it's necessary. And I believe that's the way out of the hole we're in, because there's no way that we are going to move forward without elections in 2026, changing the makeup of the House and Senate, to put the roadblocks back in, to allow sanity. And we know that that's true because what is the single most important thing that the Republicans are doing right now?
Removing all the adults from the room.
Gerrymandering, passing laws, forcing the Supreme Court to block those actions. And I love what happened with Josh Wheel. We didn't win the race, but we cut in half the number of the Democrat Republicans right here in Flagler, right here in the 6th District. So it's important, and it's paramount that you don't be afraid to wear a pin that says "No Kings in Palm Coast," or a shirt that says "I believe in coming after fascism," or whatever, because that's the voice that starts the conversation with someone in the parking lot of the thrift store or wherever. Because the conversation is what needs to happen, not the fear of.
Bleeding heart.
So-
Kurt?
I got a couple things. Anybody hear of the movie Lifeboat and where it came from? You may have heard of the star, Tallulah Bankhead.
Oh, gosh.
I know that's dating.
Is that like black and
But
white?
that's a perfect example. These were a whole bunch of people they were thrown into a lifeboat because it was torpedoed during World War II, and Tallulah Bankhead was one of them. But man, these people were good. It wasn't long before they were at each other's throats. But it's a great movie. I remember it as a kid. It affected me. Amazing. I saw it when I was about 10 years old. You know. But if you could, I mean,
They had movies when you were 10 years old?
Yeah, they had a few.
I remember
Definitely black and white.
And the other thing you should remember about Antifa, for whom the bell tolls.
Oh, it tells me.
Yeah, no
Now
doubt.
that's Antifa.
All right,
That
so
was the French or the Spanish Revolution. Or
sure. All right, so we're coming to the end of today's group session. I hope that we all walk out of here with thoughts of how you're going to address or how you're going to reach out or how you're going to talk to that couple. I do want to remind everybody we have a huge opportunity to practice that and to practice your free speech this Saturday. 2 locations in Palm Coast. No Kings. Have fun with it. I know some of these artistical signs that are going to be up are awesome. Take a moment to participate in your constitutional right. Be seen, be heard, behave, smile, wave at everybody, no matter what thumbs up or other
I do
digit,
peace
With all 5 fingers.
with all 5 fingers.
No, I do peace sign.
Do peace. So, guys, thanks for coming today. Hopefully Merrill will be back next week. And I really enjoy the conversations we have. So thanks for everybody. I'll catch you guys next time. See you later.